What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. I want to make this video about the death of men, and it's very interesting that I'm making this video in the Western stronghold of feminism, aka Sweden, where gender parity and neutrality or equality has said to have been achieved. This place is a hot mess, but that's a different video. I wanted to talk about like two articles and some of my observations. One article was talking about how men have become weaker over time. Another one was about the pussification of men. And then I wanted to add in the rise of Rooshv after some commentary on society and, in the West. So first and foremost, they were talking about, in this first article, about how men have become weaker. And they're saying that, they measure human strength by way of grip strength. And they're saying the grip strength of millennial men is lesser than that of men 30 years ago. They're actually saying that a 30-year-old woman from 30 years ago has more grip strength than a millennial men do today, which is actually quite scary. Because when we look at the animal kingdom in general, it seems like the animals are getting right with their stupidity. And they're not stupid, but with their basic raw instinct, their lack of intellectual thought, they're getting it right and we can't. Because when you look at in the animal kingdom, they use tournament species behaviors in order to determine who reproduces and who doesn't. And humanity, we don't. So the animal kingdom, the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, the most intelligent, the most adaptable, reproduce and, bring about offspring. In humanity, we just seem to just be like, hey, let's just bang and have some kids, and let's not look at the viability of the partner that we're choosing to reproduce with, and as to whether or not our offspring will be able to compete in the environment that we live in. We just doing whatever, and we're getting weaker for it, obviously by the loss of grip strength. And okay, you might say we're in human society right now, and we no longer need physical strength or whatever else, but the bumblebee, he's about to get killed. Get out of here, man. We might say we don't need physical strength, but right there, I might be allergic to bees, but I managed to smack that thing out of the way. Most people would get up and run away screaming. Anyway, so when we look at the pussification of men, there was an article done with Ice-T, and Ice-T, the rapper, and turned TV actor. Now, Ice-T was doing an interview, and he's saying we're looking at the death of men, which is the name of his new album. Now, I don't listen to music, but I read the article, and so I knew that. Now, he was talking about the pussification of men, basically where socially men no longer are able to, what's the word? I guess you could say have the social strength or wherewithal to maintain a stance or a position. They're afraid to stand up for anything, And when we really look at those men who do that today, and this is why Rooshv is coming into my video, you'll find that, Turd Flinging Monkey said, those type of men who stand for something and have a purpose or an intent, and it goes against what society says is correct, which most of the time isn't, you'll find that these type of men are considered to be the dark lords of the apocalypse. Even though when you really look at it, men like Rooshv in general, who look at masculinity, femininity, social order and collapse and whatnot, and the long-term effects of the decisions we're making now, something a lot of people obviously can't do, he's right. But, anyway. So anyway, these two things, and the society it built. So let me just talk about the society it built. So this society is basically the feminization of men, or the gynocentric society. Everything's going towards a female system of thinking and learning and determining what's good or bad, which is basically social proofing, where we use groupthink to decide what's good, what's bad, what has value, what doesn't have value, which is stupid. Because it's stupid, because it just doesn't make sense. Everything needs to be equal. Everything needs to be, paired off, and we need equality of outcomes, not equality of opportunity. This is a horrible way to be. So in this society, this gynocentric society, you find that boys and men are falling off in education because education has been geared towards the female way of thinking, and so you find that boys are performing poorly in schools, girls are doing exceedingly well, which in itself isn't problematic if the system wasn't changed to gear or towards, the female type of thinking. You find that men are attending university far less than women are, even though men traditionally have been the builders and maintainers of societies, which is why you find more men in STEM fields, because we think different. You do find women in STEM fields, but if you watch that BBC program called The Science of the Sexes, you'll come to find that there is a clear reason why there are women in STEM field. And I'll just give you a quick briefing on it. You can find this. It's proven science. So if you look at the index finger and the ring finger, I can't move it very well, and you look at the length. Now, the longer the index finger, the more estrogen you've been exposed to in your womb. And the longer the ring finger, the more testosterone. So when you find a woman who has a longer ring finger than her index finger, you know that woman has been exposed to more testosterone in the womb of her mother than estrogen, and therefore she has a male-centric mind, meaning she is better at technical skills than most women would be. And the same applies to men. A man who has a longer index finger than a ring finger, he'll be better at soft skills, working with children, sociology, psychology, these things that women traditionally study. And she's not gonna bring that lawnmower over here, is she? These people, they hate me. I think they're all feminists and they know about me. Okay, I'm not sure where I was. That lawnmower went by, I had to pause. We were talking about ring finger, index finger, exposure to testosterone, males, females. Okay, males with more estrogen, social soft skills. Okay, yeah. So basically those women in STEM, they tend to be these type of women who will have a longer ring finger than index finger. Like you see me, I have more testosterone exposure than estrogen. You see that. Which is probably why I have like more technical skills, like fixing the phones and whatnot, like you saw in my other video, but that's a tangent. Nonetheless, now in this society, female think is becoming the norm. So you find men are getting divorce raped because women's entitlement issues and ideas that, a man should pay vaginamony, which is basically future payments for past usage of a vagina after a divorce. No fault divorce where a woman can just say, I got bored and tired of my husband, so I divorced him, and then she takes half his crap. Like we look at Johnny Depp, spent 20 plus years building his career and his finances, to have a woman come along after 15 months and take half of his stuff. She didn't get half, but she almost did. So we find that, in society in general, that women are favored significantly in hiring, in law cases. If the police are called in a domestic dispute case and the woman has been abusing the man usually gets arrested and removed from his house until a court can decide otherwise, which they usually don't. They usually just decide that the woman is right. In child custody cases, the woman could be a total wretch and they will give the child to the mother over the father, even though he might be a stable, psychologically, financially stable individual. And we find that a lot of times when we look at these cases, you see how women will end up, out of anger, killing the child or allowing their new partner to abuse the child sexually or physically, which can lead to the death of the child, or psychological problems, which can lead to long-term social ills in terms of crime. Because we know from statistics that one of the greatest determining factors of dysfunctional behavior in adolescence and adulthood is to be brought up in a single parent household run by a mother. When we look at all of this and how men are just beaten over the head about how bad we are, toxic masculinity. You see, this is another way they do it to us. They tell us we have toxic masculinity, but we are men, and we establish hierarchies and social orders through rough and tumble play, through argumentation and debate. We have to dominate. That's what we do. That's how we became the apex species on this planet. Those men who said, what's on the other side of that hill? What is that goes bump in the night and makes people afraid? I'm gonna go kill it. That's what we are as a species, intelligent savages. But no, we're supposed to take on female think of social proofing on what's acceptable behavior and what's not. And we find that men are just consistently being beat over the head, and then look what's happening. our favor in terms of sexual dimorphism is being lost, to where a woman 30 years ago has the same grip strength as a millennial man today. We're failing as a species, and it's showing physically. Then we have Rooshv. And here comes Rooshv. And what does he say? Rooshv says, guys, get a trade, get a skill, get your money, go to the gym and work out, get your physique on, get a style, and listen to me. I'll teach you how to go out and sleep with the most beautiful women you want to. And then here's what happens. It works. Rooshv came along and returned value to men. You see, society is trying to degenerate, or whatever the word is, I can't say it right. They're trying to destroy men. They're breaking men down. And men are confused. They don't know. If you listen to women today, they're always, oh, where's all the good men? Oh, I want a man who's like this, I want like this. All of these guys around here today are like friend zone material. The real alpha males don't exist anymore. Or they do, but they're so rare that it's just, you know, you have the 80-20 rule taking place, where 80% of the women are chasing 20% of the men. And Rooshv is telling men, this is how you become the 20%. And it works. Why wouldn't Rooshv rise? Why wouldn't he be something great to men? They call him the Dark Lord of the Apocalypse, if you will, a rape apologist. He's none of those things, you know. And I don't think he's really a bad guy in that particular sense. I mean, he's come up with this whole new neo-masculinity thing, which is basically a return to traditionalism in a sense. And that's what society needs, because that's what made our society as a species successful. And if you look at the way society is going, where are we heading to? How many genders do we have now? There's only 2. I know, but how many do we have? Who came up with this stuff? Men? We didn't come up with that. Where are we going as a species? And then you have the likes, like I said, of Rooshv coming back and saying, hey, look, you know what? Men do like this, do like that, do like this. Value yourself. Don't worry about the validation of a woman. Make her validate herself to you. And he's right. It should be like that. Because at the end of the day, and this is a different video I'm going to do, responsibility, accountability comes back to us as men. Because when the crap hits the fan, and when our societies are being attacked, overrun, destroyed economically or through militarily, who's going to go fight? Who's going to be expected to save the day? Even in your personal life, you see this. Your wife goes out and makes a decision and it goes bad. Who's supposed to fix it? We are, as men. So why do we let ourselves be dictated and told what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad? It's never been like that before, and it's worked fine for us as a species. It's brought us to where we are as a species today. The death of men is the death of humanity. It's the death of us as a species. Or, as we're looking at in the West, it's going to be the death of us as a culture. The next time you want to be thirsty and you want to worry about, you know, what's this woman going to think about me, and I need to do something that I find questionable to myself, as myself, in terms of my morality or my stances, because I want to get in her pants. You are the one that are destroying us as a people, as a species, as a culture. Anyway, I don't know what else to add to this. Y'all can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all at Abuamerican. Pictures from Sweden coming. I'm out.